Hey y'all, it's John K. So Trump has been saying some things on the campaign trail about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, eating cats and dogs. And that's very presumptive. It looks very xenophobic to me. And I think that a lot of people have already said things that are xenophobic or judgmental of immigrants. I know I've done that before because, well, I'm from the South, and we've had some beliefs that are pretty fucked up and backwards that, get passed down here and there. And it's because there's a lot of ignorance that we grew up with. And that's probably true for all over the country, too. And we just didn't know. Largely here, we're very white, and not many people want to come here who are not white, but some do anyway. And growing up, my grandparents grew up in the Great Depression, and it gave me a unique perspective on life, which I may talk about in a different story later. So, my grandma, my maternal grandmother, grew up on a farm on Kelly's Creek, right where that Vulcan Materials Quarry is at, pretty much at the moment, and has been there for a long time. That used to be a farm. And I had a great granddaddy carpenter. And I never met James Carpenter in my life because he was passed on for many years before I was born. He had a horse that would chew tobacco. And you're going to say that's the most country-ass redneck shit I ever heard, John K. Well, a lot of your ancestors, no matter your skin color, probably rednecks. I mean, Foxworthy told us that. Back to the point. So, when it comes to eating animals, I know that it sometimes does sadden me, but it's also been a necessity of survival for a lot of people. And I just wonder where we're going to get all this food from, because there's inflation out the ass. It doesn't matter who's been president, because after every single presidency, the inflation just goes up. And it's going to keep going up. They're going to keep printing money. They're going to keep making tariffs. Trump put tariffs already on foreign goods during his first term. And Biden and Harris kept the tariffs. And now the tariffs are going to probably just keep going up no matter who the president is in the next term. And we're looking at a very difficult time here. I've heard claims the tariff might be up to 60%. So I think that a lot more people, even white people, and everybody else in this country, I think a lot of us might have to eat our dog or cat the way things are going. So I'm not going to blame somebody for eating their dog or cat. I know this is a very bizarre perspective, but my grandparents, sometimes they had to eat horse. I guess that happened to my granddad's family in Murphy, North Carolina. But I know it happened a couple times where my great-grandparents were so poor that they had to eat horse. And so did my grandma and my great aunts and uncles. I'm sure it happened several times. And usually they'd buy the horse from the butcher, but maybe they had to kill one of their own horses. So if they ate horse during the Great Depression, and they're saying right now we're economically worse off than the Great Depression, according to some economists, you're going to have to wonder, what is food? How can I get it? Are the grocery store shelves empty? Because it's going to come. It's happened in Venezuela. It's happened in other countries. I think it might happen across the world the way we're going. And we have a lot of things to look on when it comes to that ballot. I've usually been a Republican, but right now I'm not feeling it so much. And I told myself I would never vote Democrat again. But after seeing the sad state of affairs in this country, I am not a supporter of globalism. I'm not an environmentalist. I believe in the First and Second Amendments, and I know that the Democratic Party is usually the antithesis of that. But Project 2025 scares the living shit out of me. So I might be voting blue. Which is funny because I listen to Alex Jones. And I drive a truck and I dip and I love country music and I'm toxically masculine sometimes, even though I try not to be. And I believe a woman is a woman and a man is a man. And once you're 18, you can go get your gender reassigned. Because that's when you know if you want to do that or not. I think that you may not know what you want when you're young. I sure didn't. And if I was allowed to make all the decisions I wanted to before I was an adult, I don't think life would have been so pretty for me. And it's not very peachy right now either. But that's besides the point. I do think that at some point we will have to start killing animals that we normally do not eat. There's people in major cities raising chickens because they're afraid to go to the grocery store because of all that hormones and steroids they're putting in the chicken. And it's amazing how we can go to another country, and usually our xenophobic country and this xenophobic nation judges other countries because apparently we're American and we're exceptional. Stop listening to the lies, okay? No country is more exceptional than other countries. But look at the food when you leave the lower 48. It's way more healthy for you. Leave the lower 48. Hell, probably even leave Canada because they're probably living like us too. They even eat horse in Canada. I mean, if you watch the show Heartland, which sounds funny, and you're going to laugh at me for it because it's about a lady, when she was like 17 or 18, she started like training horses and saving their lives. And it's usually something a guy doesn't watch. But I watched it because I felt, like that was like some deep stuff, man. And the bad guys were always trying to sell the horses to a place that was going to process them for food. So we'll start eating horses again. We'll start raising horses. We will just eat anything, even if it's 3D printed meat, apparently. So if we're even willing to eat bugs in some trendy hipster places, who's to say we're not far away from eating cats and dogs ourselves? And we're not fucking Alf. We're fucking people. But don't tell me you haven't thought about it before. If we are in an apocalypse-like state. I mean, if there is no grocery store, foods, economy, EMP shuts everything down electronically, how am I going to put gas in my truck? Am I supposed to go outside and try to make moonshine and pour it down the gas tank in a Ford Ranger made from 2001? Who knows? But if I'm that desperate for food and I have to go outside and shoot a dog because I don't want to kill my kitty, It probably, if I'm going to be moral and ethical about that, it's going to have to be a dog that cannot hunt or cannot retrieve to give you food. And I might not mess up a dog that's there for protection. It's probably okay to eat the dogs in a very dire situation that have no use, quote, for anything but companionship. And dear PETA, I'm sorry. I try to sympathize with you. I don't wear fur. Sometimes I've worn a leather jacket. But we definitely have to think about it because we never know what will happen. Well, I'm signing off. Peace.